Hi folks, Mark Ryan here. You hear me sometimes talk about training people to go to battle, to go to war. So I want to talk briefly about what that war is and how to win that war, at least how I did it, and I know that you can as well. The war isn't against an enemy or a government or a person or anything like that. The war is against a belief system that all of us have at some point in our lives. The belief system is, I can't do any better. I cannot get any better than I am right now. Typically it happens when we're in our lowest point. You're overweight, out of shape, you're just not feeling well and kind of frumpy. And the war then begins, and it begins up here in the mind. And that's what we want to talk about now, the mind and the actions getting together. My personal war was when I was in my late 40s. I was way overweight. I was 260 pounds, size 38 waist, and just a mess. And I was told, maybe look at your sugar intake, and I did, and I made all these little choices about different foods, but I never really made a decision. So that's what I want to talk about right now, is that decision. The word decide comes from the root word of dice. Dice means to cut. So the implication is to cut off all other possibilities except for whatever you're trying to decide on. For me, it was a defining moment when I heard about all these sugars and the calories and the intake of different serving sizes and things like that. It didn't really make an impact on me until one morning I went to tie my shoes, and I bent over to tie them and I couldn't get there. I could not get my shoes tied without the grunting, the sweating, and I had to stop and break a couple of times. And that was my defining moment. I stood up and said, that's it. I'm not going down like this. This is not how I'm going to be anymore. And I made the decision that day. For me, that was the defining moment. And that's what you need as well. You need something that says, I've had enough. So what happens is then, when you make that decision, you cut off all possibilities of failure. And for some reason, everything that you do, the places you go, the things you eat, the things the people that you know, all this stuff in your life begins to gear towards going towards that goal, sort of help you along. For me, I started hanging around the right people. I started, getting up in the morning and doing a little bit of exercising. I started eating better, but I made that decision because before that, I made a decision to stop eating sugar. Okay, fine. By the time I got up the next morning, I had made 100 excuses of why I shouldn't do that. So I made that decision to start getting an exercise program and so forth. My background is I've always been in shape. I've been an athlete all the way through high school and college. So I was always in shape. I never had to get that way. So my battle was even more fierce because I knew that's not what I was. I just gave up. I felt frumpy. I was way overweight. My clothes didn't fit right. I was embarrassed to be outside, to be seen in public, and so forth. So here's my advice. To win that war, you need to first make that decision. Make the decision that you want to change and get it inside, make it real, and then make that decision. The next thing to do is don't wait. My problem was I waited till the next morning to do something about my eating habits, and I had so many excuses. My kids have to go here, my wife has to do this, I got this on the job, I got to get to work, and so forth. And I had all these excuses why I couldn't do it, and I didn't. Wake up in the morning. When you make your decision, do it right now. Don't do all of it at once. For me, my first workout was about 2 or 3 minutes. I did a few sit-ups, a couple of push-ups, and then I was done. I did that for a few weeks. Little by little, I gradually built upon each one of those. So that's my advice. Get up in the morning, do something, do it right now, but do just a little bit at a time. There's an old adage that asks, what is the best way to eat an elephant? Well, it's one chunk at a time, and that's the best way to accomplish your goal. Make your decision, take it one step at a time, and don't give up ever. Don't ever quit. And if you need encouragement, give me a call, give me a shout on Instagram or Facebook or the website, and I'll gladly help you out. I've been there before. I know what it feels like, and I know what it takes to get out. And it's relatively simple. You just got to make that decision. So I've got another video coming up that helps you make the decision if you have trouble doing that. I have another video that I'll show you here shortly on how to do that, some little tricks that I used for myself. So look for that video. In the meantime, get up in the morning, do something, and do a little bit at a time and make it happen. and I know you can be better.